Everyone knows about the greatest president the greatest country in the world has ever had. You know, it's nobody other than the one and only Donald John Trump. He's so beloved that he even pledged to be as anti-war as Switzerland, for fuck's sake. So let's check back, as it has been over a year.
Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
Aside from triggering some of my viewers who might be part of the MAGA movement, I've been privately joking about World War III happening sometime soon, now that the US and Israel have teamed up to strike the living shit out of Iran. In all seriousness though, they even bombed a school with over 100 children inside. And they even airstrike the supreme leader of Iran, who had devoted himself to fighting Israel and the United States. The final boss died on the first day. Iran responded by striking US bases across the Middle East. There were several civilian casualties, even though Iran mostly targeted important military sites and oil fields. Just to note that I, by any means, do not support any side of the war, as I think war in general is shitty and I hate governments. Basically a kleptocracy teamed up with an utterly genocidal state fighting a theocratic dictatorship. Trash versus garbage, basically. But there are some folks out there who think this might be where the Third World War would actually kickstart. But can this actually happen? I mean, people made a shit ton of World War III memes when the US airstriked the IRGC officer Qasem Soleimani in 2020, but then the pandemic happened and we all thought it wouldn't actually happen anytime soon. After all, fast forward to 2026, a lot has happened since then. But let's focus on this year, or rather the year before, after Israel struck Iran's nuke facilities, triggering a 12-day war until they eventually had to agree to a ceasefire. Israel was already busy committing a literal genocide in the Gaza Strip, rather than actually fighting Hamas as quote-unquote revenge for the October 7 attacks. Netanyahu would do anything to escape his fucking corruption trial, even if it means he would be the goddamned devil at this point. Speaking of which, he even sounds like one.
Yet at this pivotal moment, I want to address you, the people of Iran. I want to do so directly, without filters, without middlemen. Every day, you see a regime that subjugates you.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And oh yeah, Israel is also attacking Lebanon. It's like the 100th time they've done this. The current attacks on Iran as well as subsequent revenge attacks on US bases are often considered by some as an indication that World War III might be happening. I mean, if you look at what's happening in Tehran, it looks like something straight out of a Michael Bay movie. Now honestly, I shouldn't really be joking about these things as I really need to read the room when a literal war is happening, but then you have deranged fucks who are placing literal bets on a nuke being detonated before the end of the month. What the fuck? Now, I would actually show it to you, but unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, Portugal just so happened to block Polymarket, which is where people are placing these diabolical bets. Citing a Halo Haley video, there are several bets on several potential events that they believe would be taking place. If it happens before the deadline, they get the sweet, sweet cold hard cash they've been dreaming of. On top of that, there are these World War III outfit inspos like, dog, the moment you get drafted, the one thing y'all are gonna wear is this boring ass outfit right here. And besides, World War III wouldn't even be a fucking trend or anything. You wear things that help you survive, not slay. Man, does my generation love yassifying everything they see. So anyways, let's go back to the hypothetical question. Can World War III happen? Short answer, it depends. Long answer, it might actually happen soon now that everything is so unpredictable that the world feels more like an Onion article every single day. Or maybe not, since there have been so many indicators that a third world war could happen. You have the Cold War, which would have ended up in nuclear warfare killing millions if both sides for some reason went batshit insane. There you have the forever wars in the Middle East, fast forward to the 21st century, which didn't do that much to trigger a world war. I think the closest we got to World War III was the Russian invasion of Ukraine back in 2022, which turned Russia into an outcast kid at school and almost triggered a war with NATO if things got worse. 3-day operation update. Still going on for over 4 years with no possible end in sight. But even then, World War III didn't happen because no one wants to die in a nuke battle. And in fact, that there are actual outfit inspos just in case World War III happens literally means my generation is beyond repair. Like, what the fuck do you mean by World War III outfits? Just hope it doesn't happen in the first place. What's next? A zombie apocalypse outfit inspo? My guy, the zombies would fuck you up the moment you step outside! And this wasn't the first time Israel and America have attacked Iran directly in this decade, because of the aforementioned 12-day war that happened last year. If both sides agreed to another ceasefire, then the chance of World War III ever happening would be delayed. Thank God. But it's too early to celebrate. Both sides have still not come up with solutions yet, as Iran flat out refuses to surrender to the US. I mean, I can literally see why. If Trump is dreaming of a regime change that would only replace one dictatorship with another, as seen with the Iranian Revolution, it's clear that a lot of people are gonna be pissed off. But the Iranian monarchists among the diaspora really seem to want the monarchy to come back. Except this guy right here, the crown prince of the Pahlavis, is only a net positive for Israel to seek further influence in the Middle East. Now look, I don't support the Iranian regime either because it is a dictatorship that actively oppresses women and restricts civil liberties and political freedoms, but a regime change wouldn't really do much. And there are still a lot of people who support the regime, especially among Iran's socially conservative and religious bunch. So I don't see the regime falling anytime soon, unless Trump pulls a Trump card and manages to make it fall. Yes, pun intended. I scripted this shit. After this, Trump said he'll go after Cuba, but now that they're negotiating with the US, it looks like Castro's legacy still has a long way to go before they eventually die off. Unless they become the next Vietnam after sanctions get lifted, that is. Now who knows if Trump actually manages to go after China if the alleged hypothetical invasion of Taiwan ever happens. I personally think this wouldn't happen anyway since China literally has nukes and the world would literally end if things go terribly. This was also the reason the US didn't launch an attack on Moscow, as the nuke cheat code really did them a favor. It's their second best friend after winter. Looks like North Korea took notes and kinda do have a good point about having nukes to protect themselves, even if they're a crazy monarchical dictatorship infamous for being insane as fuck, basically. A hypothetical World War III would mean nukes being thrown everywhere, and eventually a fate even worse than 1984, to the point that someone out there would make a whole dystopian novel out of it. So for now, it's just Israel and the US bombing Iran and Iran retaliating by bombing US military bases across the Middle East as well as directly attacking Israel. So the possibility of a World War III really just depends on what eventually follows. Hell, if the war already ends, then this video is already dead before being born. Now honestly, I don't want a world war to be happening, not because I don't want to be drafted, like hell I would, but because I'm not a critically insane person who's waiting for another Call of Duty game or wanting to walk around in the streets in camo pants. Like bro, you wouldn't even want to go outside if a world war actually fucking happens. Have some basic common sense for once. Anyways, that's all for this hypothetical ass geopolitical video which totally wouldn't get me demonetized to shit. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys when I have the opportunity to do so. And as always, peace.